Why you might not want to move to Baytown, Texas. If you guys are thinking about moving to Baytown, Texas, here's some reasons to consider before you make your move. So please stay tuned, watch all the points before you decide to make that decision. Hey y'all, it's Will Johnson with William T.J. Realty. Today I want to talk about reasons you may not want to move to Baytown, Texas. You might want to hold your horses for a while before you check out these points that I'm going to present to you today. Now, I love this place, but it ain't for everybody, so let's dive right into it. So first off, Baytown has a whole lot of oil and gas industries here. The oil and gas industry is big here. Even Lee College is one of the biggest educators of the oil and gas industry. They pump millions of dollars into Lee College to train people for the oil and gas industry. A lot of people don't like that. You got ExxonMobil on the southern part of Baytown. You got Chevron at the top of Baytown. So Baytown is filled with power plants. Some people that stay very close to the power plants, let's say if you stay a mile within the reach of a power plant, it happens probably, I would say, once every 5 years. They'll have something to where they'll say if you stay within a mile next to the power plant, you need to quarantine yourself, and people don't go near the power plant because something happened. So this is something you guys may want to consider before moving to Baytown. Of course, most places in Baytown are not a mile close to the power plant, but that's something you do want to consider before moving there. I had a client who asked me, should they buy a house because it was a new subdivision that was right by the power plant, and I honestly wouldn't recommend it for my family, so I couldn't recommend it for them, and so they ended up going somewhere a little further off to buy a house. So this also means that you might deal with some pollution problems and smelly smells from time to time. Now, I hear most people that smell it in the Pasadena, LaPorte, Deer Park area, but some people do say that the air smells fresher when you leave Baytown. I have heard this saying before. I personally haven't noticed a difference between the Baytown air and the air leaving Baytown, but I have been there close to a power plant and smelled something in the air. So this is something you want to consider. Next, the weather and the hurricanes. So Baytown, Texas, if you guys are moving from out of state, you guys aren't used to Southeast Texas, there's a lot of heat here. It gets really, really hot, and in the heat of the summer, you don't want to be outside for a long time. Most people stay inside. They come out in the morning or the evening, and they're not out as much during the heat of the day, of course, unless you're working a 9 to 5. But if you're at home, that's kind of the life you're gonna live, because it's it can get very, very hot here, you know. So you spend time in the inside during the summers. The fall and the springs are nice, and the winters, of course, but in the summers it can get very, very hot. Also, hurricane season. A lot of you guys aren't used to hurricane season. If you're not used to hurricane season, you're gonna have to be used to every year you might get a hurricane. I would say definitely every 3 years you're gonna at least get a tropical storm, and every 5 years you're probably gonna get a hurricane. I grew up on the coast of Mississippi in Biloxi, Mississippi, and I was used to this for a long time. So after the coast of Mississippi, I moved to Jackson, Mississippi, where we didn't have to experience that. But when I lived on the coast of Mississippi, we were always fleeing the hurricanes. So when I moved down here to the Houston area, now I'm already used to it, you know. So just consider that when the hurricanes come, you guys are gonna have to either tough it out, or if it's a bad hurricane, it's recommended that you guys are gonna have to flee. So that's something you guys are gonna have to get used to. So that's another lifestyle change. Of course, you have homeowners insurance for things like that when it happens, but that's not what a lot of people want to have to do. Okay, as far as flooding, it's not too many places that floods in Baytown, but there are some flood zones in Baytown, especially on the west part of Baytown. There are some flood areas, but in the southern part of Baytown where it's lower, you would think it floods. A lot of those actually didn't flood even during Hurricane Harvey. So I wouldn't worry about the flooding as much, but if you're not used to any flooding and you're moving to Texas, just know that it does flood here in Southeast Texas, so that's something that you guys also may want to get used to. Traffic and infrastructure. So let's get it straight. Baytown is not Houston. The traffic is nearby as bad as Houston, but Baytown is booming. Baytown is growing at a really, really good rate. So it's a lot of people moving here. So at certain times the traffic can be hectic, you know, especially if you're going Garth Road. If you move to Baytown, most likely you're gonna spend some time on Garth Road. Garth Road is the busiest road in Baytown, Texas. It has all of your stores, your restaurants, your shops, your Home Depot, your Lowe's, your Walmart, your Academy Sports and Outdoors, your restaurants, your Olive Garden. So at some point you're probably gonna want to go to Garth Road, and Garth Road traffic could be very, very busy. So this is something that you guys may want to consider before moving to the Baytown area, because it's so much crowded and it is growing a lot. Also, one thing that I saw when I moved here was when you're on Garth Road and you're going into a store or shop, you think you can get to the next one through the parking lot, you're right, but you have to go back out to Garth Road to the heavy traffic just to go a few feet just to get into the parking lot, or you have to park at one store and walk across to another parking lot. You know, so I don't know why they built it that way. Things are getting better. A lot of the newer developments are building them better to where you can go from one store to another, but a lot of the things, especially when I first came, you would have to always go back out to Garth Road just to get to another shopping plaza that's only a few feet away. So I don't know why they built it like that, but that's just one of those things you have to deal with when you get here. It's a minor thing, but I do want to mention it. It's good to consider everything before considering Baytown a home. So the next point is limited entertainment options. So if you're going to move to Baytown, Texas, if you're the type of person where you want something right there where you are, you're going to have limited entertainment options. Of course, you're very close to Houston. Within 30 minutes or so, you can be at Houston or at some type of function there, and Houston has just about everything there is to offer, has the most cultural diversity and everything going on there. But sometimes you want to keep something like right where you are instead of having to travel to Houston. So Baytown isn't gonna have a lot of entertainment options. I mentioned Garth Road. They're gonna have a lot of things on Garth Road, a lot of things to go out to eat. But just as far as in general entertainment options, Baytown doesn't have a lot going on. There's not a lot of things for nightlife to do. They do have a lot of bar and grills now, and they are getting things and they're getting better, but the entertainment and nightlife might be lacking, so that might be something you want to think about before moving here. But for the most part, you're probably going to find yourself heading to Houston, Texas for most of your entertainment needs, which is fine, because some people don't want to live in Houston and deal with all the really, really bad traffic. They rather stay here in the East Houston area, in the Baytown area, and then commute there back and forth. So it's something to consider. So there you have it, reasons why Baytown might just not be the best place for everyone to move to. Sure, it has its charms, it has good aspects to it, but it also has its downfalls. So definitely before you guys pick up and decide to move to a place, you guys also count the costs and count what you're going to be dealing with before you move there. So if you got any questions or have any needs, have any questions real estate wise, make sure to give me a holler. Guys, remember to like, comment, subscribe, keep up with my videos and what's going on. Also, guys, remember to follow me on my Instagram. I'm part of the Chamber of Commerce. I'm an ambassador, so sometimes I post different events and things that's going on here in the Baytown, Mont Belvieu, Texas area. So guys, make sure to keep up with me there, and I will see you guys in the next video.